Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bright Founders Talk at Temi. Temi is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. Welcome to our podcast, where we bring you the most inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and experts in the software development industry. And each week, we interview successful leaders who share their unique journeys and valuable insights. I'm your host, Barry, and today we're lucky enough to be joined by Matteo Cordini, who is co-founder of Playground Digital Agency. Hello, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Hello, Barry. Very good. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. We know you're a very busy man, so thank you first of all for taking time out of your day to speak with us. And for those people who don't know you or your company, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and the company that you work at?
Yeah. Okay. So let's say that I started working in this environment, in digital environment, since 1997, when I made my first commercial website. I was very young at that time. And then 10 years later, I co-founded Playground, that is a digital agency, as you said. We were about 26 or 27 at that time. And each of us came from different background, let's say, creative, technical, strategic, so which made us very complementary, let's say. I was more on the creative and design side, but, we balance each other well. And the trigger, we were wondering at that time to found an agency, and the trigger came from a friend of mine in Berlin, because she wanted to start a fashion blog at that time. They were pretty trendy, and so just for fun, I just designed the logos and stuff like that. So she felt in love, and she said, "Okay, you have to make the website," and that's the main trigger and how it started. So let's say that we were at the notary's office shortly after, and let's say that yes, the reason why we wanted to go independent was that we were not really satisfied with our jobs at that time. It was not much about the work itself, but more on the environment. I hated job interviews. I remember entering those gray buildings with, gray people, with no clue of what's going on in the digital space back then. So yeah, we jumped, and of course we were able how to make a website, but no idea on how to run a business. But somehow it worked. So that's how it started. Now Playground supports both SMEs and international brands. And we offer services that spans from strategic research and brand positioning to omnichannel activation, UX UI design, and of course front-end development and customer engagement, including digital contests and casual games. And at the moment we're, let's say, 60 people.
Yep.
And that's it, I guess.
I'm not sure if that's it. That sounds like an amazing achievement. You mentioned you've got complementary colleagues. In terms of networking, was that something that just fell into place, or did you have to actively seek people out?
No, consider that me and my two associates were friends since we were born, let's say. So we grew up together. We, did everything together, and that's really good for me if I look back, because we know each other very, 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 very well, pros and cons, so we know how to support and us, so yeah, it was, I couldn't imagine to run a business like this without them, honestly.
Yeah, so sometimes they do say that you shouldn't mix businesses with like family and friends and that you keep them both apart. You mentioned there were some cons. On the whole, obviously, it's been a very positive experience, but should you really mix business with friends and family?
My father always said to me, never work, as a client for friends and family. And I honestly always follow that advice, because I was almost there, but then I understand it could have been a mess, so I just stepped back. But as associate, I guess, for me at least, with these, two people, Paolo and Gabriele, the trust is the number one condition for me to work. We have different roles and we really trust each other. So we had other experiences, I mean, other ventures with other people, and but yeah, I never found a condition like this in playground. So I'm lucky.
Sometimes it's right place and right time, isn't it? And the right people
Yeah.
around you. So if we look at your journey, because this isn't the only company that you've had, Playground Digital Agency, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned about building companies, especially from the ground up?
The most complicated part is find people. Again, I mean the right people. So let's say that, yeah, I'm still personally involved in the interviews, let's say the last interviews, because we really would like to understand if there is a fit between, the culture, the mindset of, and that's, for instance, I really like to ask situational questions, for instance, also something that happened, also something absurd that happened with clients or inside playground, to understand the reaction. So you're not, like, talk to me like I'm this and that, blah blah blah. I'm proposing this. How would you react and stuff like that. And I guess that I learn, or even the sense of humor, because I guess it's important. So I also ask questions in that direction, because I guess it's really important, how you take yourself seriously or not. So that kind of thing. So I guess that is the most important part above everything, I guess.
So that's your team building and the qualities you mentioned there that you look for in a team. Like, how do you create a culture that both encourages experimentation, but while still maintaining like accountability?
Let's say that we first, let's say, design our culture. That means taking time and exchange ideas in 2018, when we probably moved from below 30 people and up above 30 people, because we noticed that something has changed in that shift. Because at the beginning we were just in one single open space, and it was pretty easy, just behave like yourself, people listening, you talking with the client, how you treat the client, how you're trying to solve the problem. I guess that at that time that was enough to spread your idea of how to the culture, let's say. And I guess it's the same with a family, when you have a small kids. I mean, you don't have to think about it, but when you turn to 30 people, it's different. So we try to decode this, and we did it with stories. I remember that we prepared this document to explain what is good, to do, and how to do versus what is not good. And we use also examples. So for instance, for us, it's really important to be assertive, and we don't like yes men or women, because and I remember that we use the story of how does it call, by the way, regarding Cuba, and how American administration decided to invade, with all the people say yes, this is the right decision, while everyone was aware that was not the right decision. So we use this small story to drive concepts, let's say, that then, yeah, we can apply on our daily life. Of course, after COVID changed everything, and now we are, in smart work most of the time. So it's hard to, and also I guess the new generation changed their approach to work, and not the importance, but yeah, the way they consider work. So it's something that is changing. I don't have an exact question for you, because yeah, every day you notice that there's someone who has different thinking, and you have to say, okay, is it still good what I'm thinking, or do we have to change the way we are approaching this and that? So yeah, it's an evolving topic, I guess.
So you mentioned COVID then. A lot of co-founders, COVID was actually very pivotal for them because it forced a lot of people to go online and start embracing technology. Was that a really important time for in terms of the growth of the company, or was it always going in that direction anyway?
Let's say that we had a boost in that period because we consider that 80% of our clients are into retail with chain stores and stuff like that. So in a day they were completely cut off from the physical world. So they invested a lot into digital in their digital media. So we were really it was really hard for us to stay ahead of their requests, but yeah, we managed. But yeah, it was really a boost for us, of course.
So we've talked a lot about how the company's developed and your like team membership. If we talk about the technology now, in your experience, like how do you build technical solutions that are both like forward thinking and yet still grounded in like real world needs? I mean, I'm sure there are situations where maybe clients or customers have a preference for certain things, but actually, is that really like a wish list kind of issue, or is it something that's really important for the company? And how do you decide between them?
Our approach is always to be honest with our clients and with their request, and it happens. I remember in particular one time, and I'm using that condition in a situational question that I mentioned before. Was very excited by this idea, this digital marketing idea, but honestly it was completely a no-go. So we find a way to explain or propose another solution that could be more valuable in terms of business. So yeah, that's I'm not sure if I answered the question, but yeah, I guess.
Yeah, in terms of like the demands from customers and colleagues, people may have like unrealistic expectations because if we look at AI, for instance, there's a lot of hype about what AI can do. And I suppose to the layman, they may think it's actually a lot smarter than what it is. It's about being pragmatic, but also dynamic with some of the solutions. That's probably more along my terms of my question.
Again, I would say that honesty is the key, because even with AI that we use it a lot in many different applications. I'm talking especially in Gen AI. Yeah, I mean, we invest a lot in terms of understanding what's going on and what's new in the market. That means every day, basically, right now. So, and we know the state of art right now of that kind of technology, how we can bring to a client, with a valuable results, and where is not really good at it. So for instance, we work a lot with fashion brands, but honestly, right now, using generative AI with fashion brands, with apparel and clothes, it's not really at least you want to invest a lot in post-production or stuff like that, but it's not really a good idea, except if you use it not in the old media, but for instance on social media with stuff that are more light, let's say, in terms of brand positioning. So yeah, but yeah, we always try to explain the pros and the cons of every kind of solution that we can provide.
So the technology that you use in terms of like competition, do you have competition? Do you see competitors? Like, who are your main competitors, and what makes your company stand out from the other competitors?
I guess that we have 10,000 competitors. I mean, we are based in Milan, and I guess that in Milan we have, I don't know how many agencies similar to us, bigger or smaller, but we always grow by word of mouth. And I guess that, especially at the beginning, I remember the first big deal that we had was with Feltrinelli, that is one of the main iconic bookstore chains, let's say, in Italy. And they involved us for the checkout, UX, and event creatives, online or offline. And in that case, we say, okay, this is the big clients. We need to do the best possible, no compromise. And we work, even below cost to deliver high quality solutions, let's say. And that works because, for instance, the people who work there at that time, this kind of approach sparked a chain of word of mouth referrals that have never been stopped. So even now, referrals remain our strongest acquisition channel. So listening to how our clients go, not only a brand, but who is working on the brand. They have their, they have their goals, they have their problems inside their daily work. So helping them into understanding what really bring value. Sometimes also saying no to an opportunity for us, but saying no because this is not the best solution right now for you. I'm just simplifying right now, but just to make the point, I guess that is what for us what it means to earn trust, and I guess this is the best way also to grow.
In terms of like the competitiveness, so it is a very competitive environment, a very competitive sector that you're in, and it is incredibly fast changing. Like, how do you stay ahead of the competition or trends in digital transformation?
Of course, we have people that are working to see what's going on out there and to understand how we can bring, and if we would like to bring this technology into our companies. AI is an example, of course, but not only. For instance, in the last 3 years, let's say, we see a growing interest into gamification, because of course now we have a lack of attention while we are on our digital devices. So we notice, I mean, not the market noticed that using gamification strategy could increase the level of attention, the interaction, and also loyalty of certain kind of markets and consumer. So it's something that we invest before we propose something to our clients, even not only, let's say, in a digital world online, but also during physical events, for instance. So we invest into building new products that we can then sell and customize for our clients. So yeah, I guess it's a mix of keeping eyes open and having people who are dedicated to search what's going on, and listening to the accounts that talk with clients and can bring into this process, let's say, the needs that they have or they foreseen, so we can also work four hands with them and say, okay, let's try to. I remember, for instance, we talk about COVID. I remember that at that time there was no way to meet. So for instance, one brand have a sales meeting with all the sales reps. So in a bit we build up a platform to put all the necessary people and functions into one place where they can still do their job without go outside. So yeah, I guess it's a mix of these elements that you need to care and invest on this time and people.
So going into gamification services was probably like really exciting innovation for you at that time. Are there any like future or possible innovations that actually, looking around, you feel quite excited about for the future?
In terms of gamification?
In terms of anything, just any of it, any innovation that could be generative AI innovation or anything like that.
I mean, I guess that what we are also looking at right now is, because we mainly create websites, and of course the question is, will we have website in 10 years like now? Of course not. So the idea of interacting with your voice instead of looking at something by searching it, or so I guess that what we really like to understand is to, first of all, understand who is visiting our, I don't want to use website, but our space, our media, let's say, understanding why they are coming and how we can best provide what they are looking for. So yeah, we're trying right now on our website to try to implement this kind of let's say predictive algorithm, and also how we can use different approach to navigation. But I guess this is just the beginning, because of course device could change everything. Tomorrow a new device could appear on the market, and you have to rethink everything. Yeah, my main focus is on that part.
Has there been, you've had a very successful career. I think you're very modest. But in terms of like failures or missteps, is there one that stands out that taught you more than success ever could?
As I told you, Playground has always be a sort of a hub where we can, start other ventures. Apart from Silver Skin, we had another that was on contemporary art that we sold in 2014, and another one that didn't really go to the market. That was an app back in 2014 called Appears, and it didn't work, but it was a really good experience because we were involved by a university here in Milan, a sort of startup incubator, which gave us great insight into product development, business model design, and validation frameworks. So, even though the project didn't take off, it was really helpful for me in terms also, on changing my mindset on approach, because at the beginning, I remember when we started Playground, it was, oh, we have to do a business plan. And luckily, we did it. And luckily, it didn't. We found another way more successful than the one we foreseen at that time. So, a lot of effort and probably not a good strategy today. I mean, it's not new what I'm saying, but I really learned during that process and, just, try and fail and see how market responds. And of course, you made a lot of mistakes, but they are cheaper. So you can really, move around them and find another solution. So that's, yeah, a mindset that we have, and we always applied, even with Silverskin. That's how we started.
The final question, because we are running out of time, unfortunately. What advice would you give to someone starting up their company for the first time? Someone who may be nervous or not sure if it's the right thing to do. What advice would you give to them?
I guess that, yeah, fear and anxiety is part of the game. You don't have to be killed by it or be stopped by it. I like the approach. I don't know if you know, Mark Aurelius was a Roman emperor. It was a Stoic, and he talked about this idea of prepare yourself for, let's say, the evil. I don't know how to translate exactly, and I guess that is the right approach. So, in order also to stay grounded, because I guess it's really important to keep your balance, always. So you need to embrace what is coming, trying to perceive the bad things that you can have in your path, and also manage the success, with quietly. I mean, because your job is a very important part of your life, but it's, the life is also anything else. So you really need to stay grounded and in balance. But the other thing again is people. I guess that for me this is really key. Yeah. So I would say this. Nothing
Perfect.
new, honestly, but what really was really relevant from my experience.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that information with us. And if anyone would be interested in reaching out to get more information about your products or services, where would be the best place to do that?
Playground.it, of course, and or also add me on LinkedIn, for instance.
Perfect. Lovely. Matteo, I want to thank you so much again for taking the time to talk with us today. It's been a pleasure listening to you.
Pleasure was mine. Thank you very much, Barry. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was Matteo Cordini, co-founder of Playground Digital Agency.